Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in tonight's video it's going to be a topic video where we are going to talk about one of the most controversial and one of the biggest changes in Fortnite that was sort of just introduced out of nowhere and has stuck in the game for a while, and a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, and a lot of people are indifferent on it. So we're going to talk about the glider redeploy system and how it's made its way through the updates and what different pro players as well as other people are thinking about this and my opinions on it as well. And I want to get to your guys' feedback on it too. So because the glider redeploy was something that was added and it really did change the game, and you know they've chose to keep it in the game past the Fortnitemares event, and it really is a controversial topic. I'm going to talk about my feelings on it and then get into, you know, the general consensus and different ideas around it. So drop a like on this thing. I'd really appreciate if you guys could smack that like button. Let's go for 2,000 likes. It would be absolutely amazing if we could crush that. I want to say one thing. Thank you guys so much for 600,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. We just cracked over 600,000, which is absolutely amazing, and I want to thank you guys just for all the support. It's been incredible, so thank you guys so much for that. Keep subscribing if you guys are new. Drop a like. Thank you for 600k, and let's get right into this. So basically the glider redeploy, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the fact that now in Fortnite, as of the start of the Fortnitemares event and since the end of the Fortnitemares event, because they kept it in the game, the glider redeploy, where basically if you're 3 stories higher or above, you can just jump off of a build and redeploy your glider. So you basically get a free jump pad, and that's sort of how it works, as long as you remember to redeploy your glider and you're up a certain height, 3 stories or higher, you're able to do that. So that's basically how it works, and it's a feature that really changed the game and was kind of implemented potentially for competitive. I'm not really sure if it was implemented for competitive, but it definitely affected competitive because now there's way more people floating around on the last circle, and it kind of is a lot more cool to watch, I think, on that aspect. But, you know, the majority of play comes not in these competitive matches, but in public matches. So that's what you sort of have to focus on. And as far as my feelings on the glider redeploy, I personally like it. As far as the Fortnitemares and the zombies were okay. I didn't like them too much, but the glider redeploy I really do like because it allows you to play either super aggressive if you're going for high kills, or even on those games where I'm not going for super duper high kills and I'm just landing fatal fields or like, you know, late to retail or something like that, or like the late backside of retail, you know, to try to get wins. It still is helpful because it always favors a good player. In a public match, there's a variety of so many different skill levels, and if you're a good player, the ability to chase people down, to hit a couple bullets and then build up and jump at a person, the ability to get out of situations, to you know, just rotate so much quicker and basically instant rotations, it does benefit a good player, and that's why I really do enjoy that change. By the way, this gameplay is this is some older gameplay, reflecting back on what it was like sort of before the glider redeploy. So that's what I like about it. I think it is a good change. However, I do see positive and negatives to it. One of the negatives is that third partying happens oh so often, and you basically sometimes never even get a chance to heal. If you play aggressive, you're going to get people flying to you and trying to, you know, attack you, and if you try to fly away, they'll just chase you down. There is a lot of chasing, that can be one thing that could be negative. There's a lot of chasing going around, there's a lot more third partying, but at the same angle of that, it sort of just allows you, like, even if you do get third party, there is a chance to escape. And it always sort of gives you hope, as well as doesn't allow people to third party and just knock down your builds for free kills, which was always a cheesy way people would get, you know, free kills, just shoot down the builds from a mile away. And of course that would, you know, discourage people, for not encourage them to build fight. With this update, the fact that you basically don't have fall damage as long as you redeploy that glider, it encourages build fighting, and it is super duper fun. And you wouldn't have to use any maneuvers like that maneuver that I was using in this gameplay to get down from high ground. You don't have to do that anymore, because you can just jump off and float down. So it definitely changes the game as far as that goes. I also think it makes people use more materials because build fighting is more promising, and maybe that's one reason why they wanted to add it as well. It definitely does encourage more fast-paced play, and as far as someone like myself who basically just plays public matches and usually does play at a pretty medium to fast-paced tempo, I really do enjoy it, and I think it is a good change. As far as some other people, there are some pro players who have given their feedback on this. Most notably, I'm Marksman, Myth, a bunch of the guys from C9. They have given feedback on how this affects sort of the competitive scrims and competitive tournaments, as well as how it affects normal matches. And this is what I'm Marksman says. He basically said that the game can't be balanced solely around competitive, and he gave 4 sort of scenarios that could work as a patch update to it, and I'll read them out. The first one, he says you could do a limited amount of redeploys, maybe 1 to 3 per match, try to lessen the running and landing on in pubs, while also still having the advantage of alleviating circle RNG in competitive, because that was sort of what it was, one of the main reasons why this was added in. Now, option number 2, redeploy only works outside the safe zone. This would result in more running and people landing on you than the first option, but less in it overall, and again, still keeps the benefit of redeploy for rotations. That could be an option, although making it work in the safe zone is kind of almost like taking it out of the game in a public match scenario. Next is redeploy is removed, but it does work off of balloons. This means you can gain the advantage of more redeploys while you're using balloons, but you have to give up a slot for it. Balloons are also a bit riskier to redeploy from you since you float up slowly. Or option 4, reward redeploys for kills. You start a match with 1 redeploy, but you can gain additional redeploys for every 2 kills you get. That could be kind of cool. Every 1 or 2 kills you get an additional redeploy, and it sort of works as like you have to earn it in the game. Although I think the problem with that is people would forget how many they have left and sort of jump off thinking they have one, and you sort of like when you call the timeout and you don't have the timeout, you're just gonna fall to your death, of course, if you jump off and don't have them. So I think those options that Marksman gave out are all kind of cool options. I think one that would work the best is probably the redeploy for kills, as that would encourage fast-paced play and encourage people to fight. Maybe every time you get a kill, you get 1 redeploy. But I think that they're most likely going to leave it in the state that it is in as of right now. And as far as other pros feedback, we have some feedback from TSM Myth, of course, who famously shared his on Twitter. He says, so after you've had a bit more time for glider redeploy, how do you feel about them? I think they're one of the better additions to the game. When people want to disengage, they trade mobility for vulnerability, and it's better than having the person waste mats on turtling. And I sort of agree with that, even in a not a competitive aspect, but a public match aspect. The thing is, you can shoot, especially on console with the aim assist, you can shoot people out of the air. Every time I see someone floating in the air, I'll usually get a couple of shots in on them, and by doing that, by people floating, they are vulnerable, and of course you can shoot them or you can just chase them down, so it doesn't make escapes too darn easy. Honestly, people only really escape from you when you lose track of them, which could happen in the air, it could happen in a build fight, so it does sort of add another level of skill. And like I say, as far as my thing is that this does, it really does overall favor good players. Good players are going to be the ones that are building up to the height limit. Good players are going to be the ones, or I'll say above average players are going to be the ones who are making the proper rotations, who are rotating early, who are, making the late rotations late game. As far as this isn't something really to help new or new players, which I think a lot of the changes of this game lately have been favored towards new players. And, maybe even with like the items, a lot of it is favored, like a lot of cheesy items they've been adding, stink bombs and stuff, which honestly, I think the stink bombs were not even for new players. They were like to prevent turtling and competitive and stuff. But there was a lot of cheesy sort of stuff added to the game, and I think it's nice to have something that I really do believe that I've been playing better since the glider redeploy, and that is one aspect of it. It gives you another option. It gives you another option to use, another escape route that you can always use, and it definitely, in my opinion, is something that's really, really good. As far as most of the pros feedback, most of them do enjoy it. C9 Zoof said, I think it encourages players to constantly keep the pressure on someone to try and end a fight quickly, because of course the person could get away. I pretty much agree. It seems like the majority of the community does enjoy this. Of course, there is the downsides, the game where you get 10 people that third party you. I find that games and solos are just a lot more kills now too, because even if I'm not trying to go for kills, if I fight someone and 2 more people fly over to me, I'm kind of in a hot spot. So I can see why, like, this update definitely does favor good players, and it is made sort of for a competitive scene. But I think if everyone can get used to this, and if you can get used to using rotations, and the main way to use this is whenever you see someone at distance, aim down sight, use that aim assist, use your SCAR or whatever, your blue AR if you have something really good, get a few headshots or one taps from a distance, you get them weak, you build straight up with ramps, no need to reinforce, because it doesn't matter if they shoot you down because you're already going to be high enough, and you glide straight over to them and finish them off with the shotgun or SMG combo. I really think that is something that's become like my main combo since this update, and I think that even with them removing the zombies and stuff, I think that was a good move. But glider redeploy is something that I think should stay, and whether it stays like it is right now, or possibly maybe they change the height limits or make it so you have to kill to earn it, I don't know. Those ideas do sound kind of cool to me, but as long as it's still in the game and still has a place, I think it was a really cool update, and I think it's something that helps competitive and public matches go by quicker as well. And when you're speeding up all the storms, and essentially over the last couple of months, the changes they made have, moved the regular game sort of more towards a blitz play style, I really do think that this is a good change, in my my opinion, and I kind of do like it. But leave your opinion down in the comment section down below. Of course, I'm open to all sort of feedback. Let me know why you don't like it. Let me know why you do like it, or if they should change it in a way or adjust it or balance it. And thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.